Hey guys, welcome to Kerbal Space Program 1.4.1. Today I wanted to do two things. I wanted to launch something into orbit using a very basic script in KOS. So hands-free, you start the program and it'll put itself in orbit. And then what I wanted to do is take a spacecraft and dock with that vehicle in first person only. So let's get right to it. Alright, here we are with the ODV, the Orbital Docking Vehicle. This first stage here cuts off right about there. We'll bring this second stage, or actually it'll bring the vehicle up to, I think it'll almost reach space. And then this engine right here is going to take us all the way to orbit. This engine is one of the new engines from the Making History expansion. You can see here we have two different options for a shroud or no shroud. And I love this engine to death. I can tell you why. You can go over to this and you see, is this one? Yeah, the Wolfhound is what it's called. 412 ISP in a vacuum. And although it has 70 ISP in the atmosphere, 412 is not bad for a liquid fuel oxidizer mix engine. Very handy. And then, see, we'll go here, we're going to delete the fairing, so I can show you the actual vehicle. I suppose I didn't need to do that. Well, this will bring it into orbit, and actually this is going to stay attached for this mission. We're not going to detach it. But otherwise, we have the orbiter here, the docking vehicle. Essentially, it is the docking port up here, and the sort of cone around it, so we can feed the vehicle into it in case there's any bumping around. Although I don't plan on being that inaccurate. The Ajena docking vehicle from the Gemini program that NASA actually ran had something sort of like this, like a cone shape around the docking port. And I'm not entirely sure why, but I decided to try to replicate it here. But basically, this stage is nothing but a computer and batteries. A way to sustain its energy, and then a way to communicate with it. After that, it's a fuel tank and another one of these Wolfhound engines. And this packs thousands of Delta V in it alone. So when we dock with it, it could take us far beyond the moon, if we ever wanted it to. So I'm going to not save this, and we're just going to open it up again. And then we're going to take this out to the launch pad. I'll meet you there. Alright, here we are with the ODV. And like I previously mentioned, this is completely autonomous. It will put itself in orbit on its own. All I have to do is run the commands. So here, let's do it. We'll open up the terminal here. We're going to copy the flight plan from the main servers. ODV, and then you can actually list files and show it here. We got one file, odv.ks, taking up 1656 out of 10,000 size. And all we have to do is hit enter now, and we'll launch. So I did us one better. I set us up a camera on this. We can just watch the launch as if we're watching a feed from the Space Center per se. Without further ado, countdown 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Countdown complete, locking controls. And we'll let KOS take it from here. There we are in orbit. Status, ODV in stable orbit, manual control override, and the computer program has terminated. At our ending orbit, brought us to 89,000 kilometers for our periapsis, but our apoapsis almost doubled that and went to 154 kilometers. So we'll check the map here and we'll see we're not in a perfect orbit. But it is very close. And I plan on making that script a little bit better as time goes on. Alright, welcome back down to the VAB. This rocket here is the OCD, the Orbital Crew Docker. It's gonna take us up in first person and dock with the ODV. This first stage here actually has 4004 delta V, which is what we need to make orbit in one stage technically. But when our periapsis reaches 0, we're going to ditch this and make it fly back into the atmosphere, so we can at least minimize the amount of space debris that's orbiting Kerbal. And then we have this small tank here with about 800 delta V to maneuver us to a rendezvous with the ODV. Got some solar panels on here as well. I want to make sure I have these in action groups. Doesn't look like I do. We definitely do want to have these on an action group of 8, and we'll call this one solar. Toggle solar panels. There we go. Alright, this rocket looks all set to go. Let's hop in. Looks like everything is set up here. I do have raster prop monitor installed. Unfortunately, with this command module, it is not set up, so we have none of the monitors here. However, that's what we have MechJeb for. So, you can go into the map, and this is going to be the only reason I really have to enter the map for this entire launch, just to set ODV as my target. Relative inclination, basically 0, because we're on the equator. Hit SAS, throttle is at full, main ignition starts. And we'll see we have this ready to navigate in space. This just giving me information. And we have liftoff of the OCD on its way to the ODV to dock. Alright, we have our altitude right here, our orbital speed, apoapsis, periapsis, and we have all of our delta V stats here. And of course we have the nav ball, which is what we're going to be using to navigate. As well as our radar altitude, which helps with deploying parachutes. And we're going to slowly turn over here. We're reaching 3,500 kilometers at a speed of 230 meters per second. We're going very fast upward into the atmosphere. You can see it slowly dissipate. We can see more space behind it. Alright, we're approaching 10 kilometers. And we're past the speed of sound. I'm going to bring the throttle down a little. And we're going to start our turn. Speed is reaching 500 meters per second. And we're going to keep going here. Our apoapsis is at about 33 kilometers. Alright, will bring us down to about a 30-degree angle, and we'll hit full throttle again. Alright, our speed is closing at 1,000 meters per second. Things might be starting to heat up out there if we go any faster. Alright. We're gonna bring our heading down to close to 0 meters per second here. Align us perfectly. There we go. And our apoapsis will start to go up above the atmosphere. There we go. There we go. Things are starting to heat up, like I said. Gonna bring back the throttle a little bit. And as we leave the atmosphere, that burn off should dissipate as well. Alright. Looks like we brought our apoapsis all the way up to 245 kilometers. Now luckily I think we did launch a little bit ahead, so that will help to slow us down. Seems like our separation at closest approach will be 80 kilometers in 15 minutes. And what that means is, say this nav ball is Kerbal, right? It's going around in orbit, just like this, and we are launching way up like this. And our closest approach is way down here. Alright, our time to apoapsis is 40 seconds. And we're gonna see what happens when we burn target relative velocity negative here. It's actually bringing our closest approach farther away. Alright, well this is at 0 here. Bring orbital prograde. That works. So we're gonna continue to burn this. And we're gonna destage it now, so that it stays in the atmosphere enough that it burns up and doesn't leave any debris about. Let's bring us into orbit here. Alright, looks like our closest approach is 102 kilometers. We're looking away from it. So what I believe that means is that we're still behind it. And what I can do here is wait for our periapsis and then burn retro at our periapsis. Alright, we are 1 minute away from our closest approach. And that closest approach will be about 6 kilometers away from our target. And we'll see the target speed that we have to match. And this is telling us how much is mismatched. 41 meters per second. And that should take us no time at all to change. So we'll just wait till we get a little bit closer, then we'll start burning. Let's see, we could actually switch our RCS on and use our thrusters to slow us down instead of our main engine. Save us a little bit of fuel for re-entry. Alright, we got 4 seconds. And main engine fire. Do 2 little bursts. Then we'll use the RCS thrusters again. Bring us down to... It's close enough to 0. Oh, it's gonna do this little dance. Alright, we're gonna kill the rotation here. Because we need to aim at our target anyway, which is right there. And there it is, the ODV, about 6 kilometers away. Let's use our main engine here at low throttle. Bring our target velocity up. And let's use RCS to try to push it over quicker. Bring our velocity up to maybe 40 meters per second. See what our closest approach as it's slowly decreasing comes to. It's like 1 kilometer away so far. 600 meters, 500 meters. It'll bring us to 410 meters per second. You know what? I can do us a little better than that. There we go. 420 meters per second. That is N9 standard for docking. Our standard procedure is to park 420 meters away from your target and then approach using RCS only. It's per protocol. I didn't write the book. Actually, I did. Alright, 1 minute and 30 seconds until closest approach. So we're just going to time warp a little bit to get closer. Alright. Now fighting with RCS for just a little bit there. Our target speed is at 0.3 meters per second. So let's mosey on over to our target here, see what we can see. There we are, 423 meters away, and we're slowly approaching. It's nice to actually have visual of the target now. Trying to line ourselves up parallel or directly pointed at the ODV here, with not a lot of monopropellant left. You can see here we're dwindling. Alright, slightly to the side, slight roll too. And we should actually get a dock here. Slightly up. Oh, and looks like I'm gonna kill that right now. There we go, we have a dock. Alright, let's hit solar. Since I'm not sure if our solar panels were up. Unfortunately, I don't really have a way of checking either. I have this right here, set to an action group to undock, but I think what needs to happen is this needs to be the one. Unfortunately, I don't have a way of getting out. I don't think. Okay, looks like I can switch seats. That's cool, I didn't know that. Yeah, I don't think I have a way of actually getting out. SOS, Mayday, Mayday, this is OCD. KSC, we are docked with the ODV successfully. It appears our docking mechanism is stuck. Repeat, our docking mechanism is stuck. We cannot undock from the ODV. We need all the help we can get. Roger that, OCD. This is KSC. Please stand by. We are sending someone up to help you. This is OCD. Repeat last. Did you say you're sending someone up to help us? This is KSC. Affirmative. Stand by. And now we're setting up our cameras here. Alright, we're gonna hit SAS on, throttle is at full. Main ignition start. And we are away. Alright, we are in orbit. It looks like we actually may have gone a little bit too far. In just a matter of seconds here, we'll take retrograde. Looks like we're actually in front. I thought we were behind. Our target is behind us. Oh, that's when I just realized, looks like my periapsis dipped underneath the atmosphere, 66,000 that time. We don't want to lose any speed while we go through the atmosphere here. So what we're going to do is go orbital prograde. Yep, it's already set to that. And we're just going to time warp through it. Alright, 30 seconds to our closest approach to target. Alright, now we'll take a look at our target here. And we can actually see it in the camera now. From 420 meters out. We'll see, we can actually see, yeah, the solar panels have deployed. So there was nothing wrong with the action group mod or our action groups. It just looks like a Kerbal thing where it needed to undock from this vehicle instead of this one. So this vehicle does not have their docking port action group set. Only this one. Alright, looks like 2 meters. We are practically on a collision course. You can see here, we are approaching at 5 meters per second. And when we get close, we will definitely... Here, we'll get the lights on. We'll definitely kill our approach. RCS engaged. Press down at 2 meters per second. No rotation. Alright, 0.00 meters per second, and we are 49 meters away. It is generally in that location. So our RCS is off. We're gonna switch to target here. And we actually have a nice view of it and the moon behind it. There's 2 reasons why I can't undock from this vehicle. I can't EVA from here. Is because when it's docked, this cone design actually blocks them from being able to escape from the command pod. But also, the only way to EVA when you're in this mod, I do believe, unless I don't know the controls very well, there may very well be a control for it. But in raster prop, you can go to target and all the way down to crew EVA, and boom, we are outside of the vehicle and hit space to let go. Yep, there we go. it was the one connected to the ODV, we can actually hit undock. Oh, there he is. How's it going, bud? Now let's burn retro. While I do that, fix my staging.
Don't tell me that I need saving. Finally awake and living. Yeah, yeah. The pressure inside was building. I felt under attack, and now my mind's attacked, and I've chosen my path. I've chosen my path.
There we go. We are splashed down. Yay! Alright. Alright, that concludes another safe, successful mission. Everyone successfully came home. And that will conclude today's video. Thank you for watching, and peace out.